I'm very pleased to tell you today I have Esteban Herrera here. He is the COO of the newly launched HfS Research, a one-year-old company, and you guys have done an amazing job. So Esteban, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is a great pleasure and a great honor.
So tell us a little bit about HfS in case people don't know. Of course they should if they're watching this video. But in case they don't know, tell us about your organization.
Yep, we just turned one. We've grown very, very quickly. We provide research and analysis to the outsourcing world. We work with buyers and providers, and we have a very large following of 50,000 subscribers for our media, of which about half and half buyers and providers. We're very, very excited. We have 12,000 members on our LinkedIn community. But of course, what we do best is provide outstanding content. Because we work so well with social media and because we are a very networked firm, we get to data very, very quickly, and we can provide data cuts, benchmarking, things that in the traditional research world took a long, long time, much, much faster. So we like to think that we're not only a relevant source of information, but we're a quick one. And perhaps what we're most proud of is that we're an edgy one. We have a point of view. If anybody has seen our blog, Horses for Sources, which is the media arm of HfS Research, if you will see that we're not afraid to take a stand.
No, and I've always loved reading the blogs, and you do, a little tongue-in-cheek, but you call it the way it is, so I really appreciate that. Big research agenda on track now?
Yeah, we have published over 60 reports in our first year. We plan to continue to do that at that pace, and maybe a little bit bigger pace for our second year. We have something very exciting that's never been done for the outsourcing industry before, to our knowledge. We're going to have vertical specific research. So we've already done a healthcare payer report, and we're releasing in the next couple of weeks our utilities report, closely followed by oil and gas, and we will do every single major industry on a rotating basis so that at any point in time we will have a report that is current, no more than 18 to 24 months old, on what the pricing trends are, what the scope trends are, the major deals that got signed, the major deals that got canceled, the things that switched from one provider to another, the trends, the technologies. Very, very comprehensive stuff. I think that will be well received because there are vertical differences between how one organization might execute sourcing and others.
Yeah.
One that's been very, very popular in the last few days, just actually got released, is our Latin America report, Nearshore. It's a very comprehensive report, covers the entire area, all of the providers, and it's, we feel, I'm partial to Nearshore, so I have to admit to some bias, but we feel, and the research shows, that there's a lot more interest than there has been in the past on nearshore strategies, on Latin America specifically. We get inquiries about it from our clients daily.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was just here with Kirk Laughlin talking about Nearshore, and it's amazing how much conversation there is about Nearshore these days. So it's a huge trend.
It is, and it's pretty exciting. I think there's, it's challenging. We did a session earlier today, actually with Kirk, and one of the things that's very difficult is every country has slightly different regulations, so you're not looking at one set of regulations like you might be in India. But the cost advantage has pretty much disappeared. If you look at where arbitrage has gone, and in almost every session people are saying arbitrage is dead. We still think there's a little bit of it, but the cost difference between doing work in Latin America, doing it in India, the Philippines, has pretty much disappeared. It's negligible if you're going to go after specialization really and find the very best skills. I'm not saying you'll find them here or there, but when you do, the cost isn't going to be a difference to pick one or the other.
So now, are we still seeing, and I think I know the answer to this, but are we still seeing the mega deals, or are you seeing a lot more differentiation into smaller deals that maybe they are more boutique kind? There
is a trend towards much smaller deals, I think. We certainly see it in F&A. We see it in application development and maintenance. You don't see it in ITO as much, in IT infrastructure, and that's primarily because it's very hard to split up, although some very large companies do, and they've had some success with it. It's just hard when when your help desk is run by a different company than your network, that is a different company that has your data center, and you have an issue. It's very difficult to track down. So I think you're going to continue to see large, high-value deals in IT infrastructure, but I think the others are getting more segmented. I think companies are getting better at working with multiple providers.
Okay, so it's the magnitude of all the deals might still be large. I'm sorry for interrupting, but what you're saying is that they might break it. They can break it now into smaller segments to go out to market with.
That's correct.
Okay, but they're still outsourcing the breadth of it.
Absolutely. The outsourcing as an industry is growing at double-digit compound annual growth rates, and I don't think it's going to stop in the next 3-4 years. It's the recession caused everybody to panic a little bit, and there was a pause in activity. But if you look at the growth in the outsourcing industry, it continues to be well on its way to over $1 trillion industry, and it grows every year. Now, really forward-looking companies, some of our most sophisticated buyers, are looking at it a different way, and this could actually cause some upheaval in the industry, so we're going to be tracking it closely. They want to source end-to-end processes. If you look at them today, they might have their finance and accounting with one provider, but that's runs on SAP, which is maintained by another provider, which in turn sits on a box which is maintained by another provider. They're asking a different question now. They're asking, what if I had my entire order to cash integrated and I only had to deal with one provider, and I'll do some procure to pay with another provider so I can keep everybody on their toes and have the multi-sourcing still. I don't know, this is a very difficult thing to accomplish, but the fact that people are beginning to talk about it, and it's the most sophisticated, forward-thinking people, I think could be a very early trend. So we're going to be watching that this year as well.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
It'd be very challenging to do, but I can understand, having been on all sides of the sourcing equation as a buyer, as a seller, as an advisor, and as an analyst and researcher, I can understand why that would be attractive.
Yeah, that would be. Innovation, we talk a lot about that. It's like the word right now, yes. Innovation. Where do you see innovation in these deals?
Well, unfortunately, and here I'll be critical of the industry, a lot of the time you don't. And the reason is because I think buyers and sellers don't understand that somebody's still got to pay for innovation. So if you can have those very clear conversations, very candid conversations about, hey, we'd like to do things differently, we're willing to take risks. That's which outsourcing contract that you've seen says, yeah, we're going to take some risks. It's just not there. So contracts kind of also limit the amount of innovation. What I am seeing a lot of is something that I distinguish from innovation, which is best practice application. So providers, because of their natural breadth of the clients they serve, are very capable of identifying the best practice for a certain insurance solution, a certain manufacturing solution, and spreading it around their clients, which is a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think that's innovation. That's just getting everybody to the same level through best practices. Where you do see some innovation and the ability to do things completely differently in a new way is when people sit down and have that tough conversation and say, okay, we're going to invest jointly, we're going to take risks jointly, and we're going to reap the rewards jointly. If you don't put those three things in place, and the vast majority of contracts I've seen don't allow you to put those three things in place, you're not likely to see innovation. One other thing that I will say, I think there is a lot of room for procurement, for innovation in the procurement space, and there's a lot of interest. Just like we are seeing an uptick in Latin American inquiries, we're seeing a bigger even uptick on, okay, it's time to address procurement and sourcing in my organization. Let's go do that. So I think that you'll see some pretty crafty new solutions, and I'm excited about that. And
what kind of horizon?
I think that's actually about 6 months away. I think that when really big companies start taking a look at it and in a serious, integrated, end-to-end process way, because there's a lot of procurement outsourcing that goes right now, but it's like we talked about earlier, right, bits and pieces. I think that's in 6 months we'll be hearing about new procurement offerings from established providers and maybe some that you haven't heard from yet.
Interesting. All right, so hot off the press is our new exclusive relationship with HfS.
So exciting.
We are so excited. We are so excited, and to me, it's a perfect marriage. What are your thoughts about that? And what do you think? And tell me the benefits for my members.
Well, for your members, they get access to our entire catalog of research, and it'll be behind your firewall. But that's a tremendous benefit from the perspective that they can look at those industry-specific reports that I talk about. They can look at our negotiation guides. They can look at our contracting guides, our governance best practice reports, our Latin America, and we have a report on Africa as well if someone's interested. So there's a really wide breadth of information and resources that they can tap into. And I know that you're very much about providing a complete offering, and I think this helps complete it. It's again, I'm biased, but I think it's the highest quality research in the outsourcing business, and now all your members will have access to it.
They're pretty excited. I can't tell you the number of emails I got and calls I got as soon as we made the press release.
And being here in those last couple of days has I can feel the excitement, and it's so exciting for us. That we're going to get a broader audience. We're very proud of our 50,000, but yours is a very exclusive group. It's a very prestigious group, and it's people who are truly at the forefront. They're the thinkers. They're the people who invest in educating themselves and networking themselves to stay on top of everything. So the fact that we will be read by those folks, and that we will that they'll have the opportunity to opt into our research as well, which can be an exciting opportunity for many of them. It's a great partnership.
So tell me, describe the HfS 25, which is really 37, and it's on its way to 50. You might need to rename it, but if you could just describe that for me.
Yeah, the HfS 25 is an exclusive group of some of the most sophisticated buyers. It's an invitation-only group, and we hope to invite some of your members real soon as we get to know them. The idea is to get some of those very forward thinkers together in a room, just the buy side, for a day, and to have conversations about where they think the industry is going. We sponsor it for a very selfish reason. It drives our research agenda. When I have the 25 people from these giant Fortune 100 companies that have the most sourcing spend in the world, talking to us about what their issues and concerns are, or at least while we're in the room, I can drive a research agenda that's meaningful for that audience and for the providers that serve that audience, which is our market, of course, both of those audiences. So it's a very exciting group. They are about to meet for the first time. You mentioned, we have overbooked the 25 a little bit, but we also have some on a wait list. I'm going to ask the membership, since we promised them an exclusive group of 25, I'm going to ask them to vote. I've done a little bit of groundwork. I think the vote's going to go in the direction of HfS 50. When we have the HfS 50, we're very excited that we'll be hosting one of the meetings at your summit in Seattle.
Yeah, we're so excited to have that group with us. It's going to be great.
It'll be fun, and they'll get a lot out of being in an event like this as well. Good.
So I've been told we're out of time, and I know you've got a full calendar ahead of you. So Esteban, thank you for your time today. I really liked chatting with you.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
And hopefully I can invite you back again.
You can invite me back anytime you want.
Okay, as soon as we have the next news breaking report or your next research agenda, I want to make sure that we'll talk again.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. And folks, thank you for joining us today. I'm Dawn Evans, and we'll see you next time.